Every day, I see people of all ages that play and compete in tennis, and they believe that they they are not good at it because they are too emotional. And though being very emotional is something that can actually get on your way, and yes, it can affect you. It can affect you at work, school, relationships, um, whether you compete or do any sports. The truth is that they're not, they don't have problems when they compete, or they don't have problems when they play or when they perform doing anything because they're very emotional. The, the problem is that they are attached to the wrong things. Their emotions are pretty much the result of them paying too much attention to things that are not helpful. And when I mention those things that are not helpful, I'm talking about the need of, let's say, being fearful of social judgment, the need for validation, the need for permission, the need for external reinforcement, and we'll talk about each and every one of them, and also the need for social validations of your justifications. When I say, when I mention social judgments, that's pretty clear. Every single person, every single human in has a little bit, almost nothing, some or a lot of that little fear of being judged. That's what I mean in social validation, of other people judging you. And that sometimes that judgment becomes so powerful that it gets to the point that it takes away the control of your life from you. And it's a very common thing. Social judgment can be something that can really freeze you and get you to the point where you say, I don't want to do anything because I'm afraid of what people are going to think of me. Even when you know that you have to move, that you have to do something. And I think it's important to notice that it doesn't matter if you do something or not. It doesn't matter what you do. In reality, it's not even about you doing something or not. You are going to be judged by society. That's why I always tell the kids that I train, I say, you have to try to understand, you have to try to keep that fear of the social judgment out of your head, because whether we like it or not, people are going to talk about us. It doesn't matter how you perform, well or bad, or even if you don't perform at all, people are going to talk about you. So that's a given. You have to take that as a given, as the default of things that are going to happen. They're going to talk about you. The second thing is the need for validation. And the need for validation is when I mean, again, it's very clear. You just want people to like you. You want people to know you, and you want people to like you, to like the things that you do. You want people to validate your performance. You want people to be happy how you're doing things and the results that you're getting. And that need for validation, again, it is something that many times, even if you perform very well, it can be very destructive, because nothing will be enough. It's like people that are perfectionists. I think that perfectionism is something very, very closely related for the need for validation and the fear of social judgment. So that's the second point. The third one is the need for permission. The need for permission is pretty much does society accept you as a person that has a skill and is capable of performing that task or that thing that you claim to be, whether you're an architect or an athlete or a painter or anything that you do. We all know of stories, and you can watch them on YouTube and on TV, of people that have been super successful, ultra successful in their fields, and they still feel that when they're about to perform, sometimes they still feel that fear of performing. They get nervous because they don't know how they're gonna do. They even if they have already been successful in the past, they have the sensation that, okay, then what's expecting of me is that I perform well, so I have to do better than the last time. And they feel that they don't have permission of other people to try to perform unless they know that they're gonna perform at a higher level than they did before. That they sometimes they feel like, I don't know if I have all the skills to call myself a painter or architect or mechanic or whatever it is. So that need for permission is pretty much relying, again, on other people to give us the qualifications to do something that sometimes we have studied really hard to achieve, to become that person. You have probably gone to college, you have probably studied a lot, you have probably performed it for many years, but still we can get that fear, that little need in the back of our minds, that we need the permission from other people to do that, even though we know deep inside, we know that we are very well capable of doing those things and performing. The need for external reinforcement is that we need to hear the opinions and get the feedback from other people. Sometimes we believe that what we know is not enough, or we believe that we are not sure that what we know is the right thing, is correct, is enough, is what's gonna help us, and what's gonna lead us to achieve the task at hand. So that need for external reinforcement is, again, is some kind of validation of other people saying, okay, it seems like you're doing this well, but I believe that you should do this, or you should do that. And the thing is, society is always going to act like a coach in pretty much anything, even if they don't know what they're talking about. And you can see that if you go to any YouTube video where they're talking about sports, for example, or almost pretty much anything, you're gonna find people that they probably talking about football, and you see people that they were not professional football players. Some people have never played football, and yet you see them talking in the feedbacks like they're professionals, like they were professionals, like they know what they're talking about and what kind of plays should have been done, and the way that they should have been executed and all that. And you're saying, I'm looking for the reinforcement of people that 99% of them, pretty much most of the times, the truth is that they have no idea what they're talking about. They believe they had that idea, but in reality, none of them have ever even tried to do that thing. But everyone will have an opinion on the things that you do, and everyone will have their way of seeing things how they should be done. And the last one is the need for social validation of your justifications. Justifications, I mean your excuses for doing or not doing, for doing it wrong, for not taking action. Whatever it is that you're justifying, we want society to agree with us. We want society to say, to give you a pat in the back and say, hey, it's okay. We understand that what you were doing is very difficult, so you're fine. And the truth is that if we rely on society to justify, to validate your justifications, I mean, we're wrong from the beginning, because many times those, what we're trying to justify is an excuse. If we are honest enough with ourselves, and we look and we see, if we look inside ourselves and say, okay, am I really am did am I really trying to justify this in a valid way, or I know I did it wrong, and I knew I was going to do it wrong, and I'm just trying to find an excuse, and I'm just trying to make myself feel better if other people accept my explanation of what happened. And that's one thing, that you really want to pay attention, because if you have too many excuses, one, you're lying to yourself, and the second one, you are becoming more the kind of person that is creating, you're becoming a victim. You're gonna start becoming the kind of person that is not really gonna look for the solutions and accept when things didn't go well, because you probably didn't work or prepare enough. You probably didn't do your best. You probably didn't trust in yourself. You probably got nervous or fearful. And you just have to go back and say, okay, what went wrong? And this is what happened, and I accept it, and I'll work on that. But as well as we try to justify what happened, we're pretty much trying to put ourselves in the position where you say, I did everything well, but someone external to me, out of my control, went against me, and it was stronger than me, and that's why I didn't achieve what I wanted. And if you have that kind of mindset, again, you're trying to look like you're the victim yourself, and that's gonna take you nowhere. There is nothing. There is probably, I believe, there is nothing that is gonna lead you faster and more accurately to mediocrity than playing the victim. So if that's your case, you better have the strength to be bold enough and look inside yourself and say, what went wrong? What happened? And start working on that. Because if you don't, if you forget everything we mentioned before, social judgment, need for validation, need for permission, need for external reinforcement, you can remove all of those. If you look at yourself as a victim, plain and simple, you have no way, no chance to succeed and achieve your goals. I hope it helps, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.